Hello my brave crew, I'm the Captain, and welcome to another episode of Deep Dive, the channel where we journey into the deepest, most unknown realms of science and the future. Imagine waking up one morning and without ever having touched a piano key in your life, you sit down and play a full Beethoven sonata without a single mistake. Impossible, right? Until recently it certainly was. But today we live in a world where the impossible is becoming possible one by one. And I'll make you a promise. By the end of this journey you won't just understand how this incredible technology works, but you'll also realize why the very word learning might be erased from our vocabulary within a few decades. And this isn't just a science fiction story. This is the roadmap for the future of humanity. And it's being written right now, as I speak to you. Do you remember that timeless scene in The Matrix where Neo sits in a chair, a cable plugs into the back of his neck, and in a matter of seconds, all the principles and techniques of Kung Fu are uploaded directly into his brain? For all of us, that scene was a fascinating and distant fantasy, the ultimate symbol of speed and progress. We've always believed that learning means effort. It means sleepless nights before an exam, years of practice, failure, and getting back up again. Learning means sweat, patience, and dedicating your life to a skill. But what if I told you that the scientific foundations of this very mental download are being built right now in the world's largest and most reputable laboratories? What if I told you that cinematic fantasy is becoming a scientific reality? The main question is this: how did scientists manage to penetrate the most complex, mysterious, and powerful organ in our body, the brain? How did they learn its language so they could inject new information directly into it? This is the question we are going to dive deep to answer together, so hold your breath, because our dive has just begun. Alright, before we can download a new language or the skills of a pilot, we first need to get acquainted with the gateway to this new world. This gateway is called the Brain-Computer Interface, or BCI for short. Let me explain it very simply for you. Your brain and mine are an incredibly complex symphony orchestra. An orchestra with 100 billion musicians called neurons. These musicians are constantly talking to each other, not with words, but with extremely faint electrical signals. Every thought, every movement, every memory, every feeling is a unique piece of music in this symphony. Now a BCI is like an ultra-sensitive and intelligent microphone placed next to this orchestra. This microphone can hear the notes of the symphony, that is, it receives the brain's electrical signals. Then, with the help of artificial intelligence, it decodes these notes and understands what command the brain is issuing. For example, it understands that you want to move your right hand. This technology already exists and has transformed the lives of thousands. Patients who were paralyzed due to spinal cord injuries can now control a robotic arm just by thinking, allowing them to eat or even type on a computer. It truly is like a miracle. This means we are listening to the brain, but this is just the beginning of the story. The scary and exciting part of our adventure begins when we decide to be more than just listeners. When we decide to write to the brain. Meaning instead of just reading signals from the brain, we start sending new signals to it. Scientists have done this in numerous experiments. In one famous study, they were able to transfer a specific memory from the brain of one mouse to another. The second mouse remembered something it had never experienced. This experiment shook the very foundations of our understanding of the mind. If a memory can be transferred, then why not a skill? A skill, in reality, is nothing more than a specific, repeating pattern of neural activity in the brain. When you learn to play the guitar, you are actually building a new and powerful neural pathway in your brain. Now imagine if we could record the brain pattern of a professional guitarist. Then, using a BCI, we recreate that same pattern in a beginner's brain. Would that person be able to play the guitar? In theory, yes. And this is precisely what large companies like Elon Musk's Neuralink are pursuing as their ultimate goal. Their aim is not just to cure diseases but to upgrade healthy humans. That means you and me. Wait, just stop for a moment and think about this. Close your eyes for a second. If you could instantly download just one skill right now, what would it be? Playing an instrument? Speaking fluent Japanese? Programming in Python? Or maybe the skill of public speaking? Please pause the video right now and write the first thing that comes to your mind in the comments. I want to see what dreams my crew has. I asked you to do that because I want you to know this is no longer a question of if, but a question of when and what. This technology is coming, and it's going to turn all of our lives upside down. No more need for years of school and university. A brain surgeon could learn the most complex surgical techniques in minutes. An astronaut could download all the necessary geology knowledge on their way to Mars. Our children, instead of memorizing mathematical formulas, could have mathematical intuition added directly to their brains. The entire structure of our society, our economy, our culture is built on the foundation of acquiring knowledge and skills. If we pull that foundation out from under this building, what will be left? When everyone can know everything, what is the value of knowing? But every dive into unknown depths has its own monsters. In this vast ocean of opportunities, great dangers are also lurking. The first and most obvious danger is mind hacking. If information can be written onto the brain, then false information can be written too. False memories could be implanted in someone's mind. A person's beliefs and convictions could be altered. Or even worse, a person's memories could be erased. This is scarier than any science fiction movie. The second danger is the creation of a new class divide, a form of biological apartheid. If this technology is expensive, only the wealthy will be able to upgrade their brains. They will become a new, super-intelligent species, while the rest of the population remains at their biological level. This gap would be deeper and more dangerous than any economic or social divide we have seen to date. And the third question, which is perhaps the most important of all, is this: what becomes of creativity and individuality? If everyone can download the mental pattern of Picasso and paint like him, will a new Picasso ever emerge? When the difficult and arduous path of learning and personal discovery is removed, will the human spirit have anything left to say? It's like unlocking the door to our mind and handing the key to a tech company. Do we really trust them to have our best interests at heart? Remember, at the beginning of this journey, I promised you would understand why the word learning might disappear from our lives? Now you feel the reason with your entire being? Brain-computer interfaces are not just a new gadget or tool. They are a complete redefinition of what it means to be human. Look, as a species, we have spent thousands of years creating tools to overcome our physical limitations. We invented the wheel to move faster. We created the lever to move heavier objects. But one great limitation always remained in place: the biological limitation of our brain. Our learning speed was limited. Our memory capacity was limited. Now, for the first time in history, we are creating a tool that pushes past this final, most sacred boundary. We are moving from biological evolution, which takes millions of years, towards conscious evolution. We are starting to take control of our own mental evolution. The process of learning, which has always been tied to struggle, failure, time, and experience, might soon be replaced by a new process: instantaneous acquisition. And this changes our definition of identity and achievement forever. Until today, our identity has been the sum of our efforts, our failures, our successes, and our unique experiences. In the future, our identity might be the sum of our downloads. This is the greatest leap in the history of our species, a leap from biological human to technological human. We started this journey with a fascinating fantasy from the Matrix and arrived at a shocking and profound truth about the future of our own species. The line between our minds and the digital world is getting thinner and more transparent every day. We are standing on the threshold of a new world, a world full of unbelievable opportunities and, of course, incredibly heavy responsibilities. I want to ask you for one thing. The next time you are struggling to learn something new, whether it's a programming language, a musical instrument, or even just baking a simple cake, enjoy the process. Enjoy the feeling of confusion, that aha moment when you finally grasp a concept, that sense of pride that comes after hours of effort. Savor it deeply, because you and I might be among the last generations of humanity to experience the joy of learning in this pure biological way. Thank you for joining me on this deep and slightly terrifying dive, my amazing crew. Your presence is what gives these exploratory voyages meaning. If this mental journey was valuable to you, and if you want to continue voyaging into the unknown with us, help the Deep Dive fleet grow by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It's the greatest support you can give us. Take care of yourselves and your thoughts. We love you all very much. And for one final thought, perhaps the biggest question of the future won't be what do we know, but what have we chosen to be?